that down. Let's move on to this, shall we? We've talked a lot over the last year or so about the incredible phenom that happened with Moana, a 6 or 7 year old movie, became the #1 streaming movie of the year last year in 2023. No other movie was streamed as much as Moana. That's crazy. And again, kind of like Suits, the margin wasn't even that close, kind of by a mile. So no big surprise. We've got Moana 2 coming out next week. Very excited to see it, even though they haven't lifted the review embargo of it yet. That could be a red flag, but we'll find out. But also, lest we forget, in all the hoopla about the Moana 2 coming out next week, they are making a live action version of the original Moana movie with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Maui. By the way, I love that character and I love the voice of Dwayne Johnson doing it. Well, they have actually started shooting the movie. And Disney Studios co-chair Alan Bergman got on his social media and posted this picture of him on set with Maui's iconic giant bone fishhook. I gotta say, that looks pretty awesome. It's probably made out of styrofoam. It's probably super light and everything, but that looks great. The raft looks amazing behind him. The beach, the scenery, all looks great. So the movie is, I mean, it's real. It's as real gets now because they're actually on set and they're shooting the movie. At least they will be once Dwayne shows up, because apparently he's about 18 hours late already. But anyway, that's why they're able to take this picture. Just waiting around for Dwayne to show up. Figure we'll take some pictures while waiting for Dwayne to arrive.
He's still in Texas.
It's great. Listen, unless anybody think I'm a hater, I love Dwayne. Let's set the record straight. I love Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I do. So I play and I kid.
I mean, the best part about this is you won't even need any bottles.
Hey, man, when you gotta go, you gotta go.
Sometimes it's in the ocean.
Sometimes it's the ocean. So the movie starts shooting, and that's great. It's going to be really interesting to see what it looks like. You know why I'm more interested in it now? Because I just saw the trailer for How to Train Your Dragon. Yesterday, right? Like, looking at that, I went, it's such a familiar yet new experience seeing this live action. And it's kind of made me even more, I got to admit, the trailer for a different movie has made me even more intrigued to see this Moana thing. So we'll see. But we are hot on the heels of arguably the biggest flop of the year, right up there with Borderlands and a couple of others, with Red One, a $250 million movie that made $32 million in its opening weekend.
A level 4 naughty lister?
With Chris Evans,
Hell yeah.
J.K. Simmons, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now look, gone are the days that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was franchise Viagra, right? Those days have come and gone. I would argue he was the last legitimate one. There's not many actors out there, and maybe even to a degree you can still say this about Dwayne Johnson. There's not many actors out there that you can say that put them in a movie, guaranteed it will make more money than it would have without them.
Absolutely.
Now, it used to be with Dwayne Johnson, put him in a movie, guaranteed it'll make a ton of money. You can't say that anymore, but you could at least still say, well, put Dwayne in it and it'll make more money than it would have without him. But with all the bad press he's been getting, the bad PR, the questionable results, I mean, let's face it, the stench of Black Adam is still hanging around. And for the record, I liked that movie.
Yeah.
I think it was great,
okay.
but I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, even though I thought it should have been better. Yeah. I still liked it, but the stench of the failure of that movie, a movie that they built up for 15 years, the hierarchy of power in the DC universe about to change and blah, blah, blah. And it $400 million, not even $400 million. And then, it's kind of been this stutter step ever since. And then Red One comes out and it just falls flat on its face. So the question, and I hate asking it as a Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson fan, when they first announced Moana 2 and they said Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself was going to be playing Maui, a lot of us thought, well, yeah, of course, because that's going to really... But is it? But do we now instead have to ask the opposite question? Is Dwayne's presence in the movie actually going to be something that hurts the movie? And that seems like crazy talk. Like, you go back just a couple of years ago, even asking that question seems certifiably insane to ask. But with just the reality of where Dwayne's career is right now, not that he can't turn it around, not that he can't be an even bigger star than he ever was 3 or 4 years from now, I'm talking today. Especially coming hot off the heels of Red One, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being in this movie maybe something that Disney could unthinkably downplay as they market the movie and they make it. Maybe they don't go out of their way to highlight Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson stars in blah. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I'm not really sure at this point. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Miracle Made. Guys, it's hot outside and your nighttime bedroom temperature has a huge impact on your sleep quality. So if you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Miracle Made sheets are inspired by NASA and use silver-infused fabrics that are temperature regulating so you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. There are just so many things that make these sheets so fantastic. We already mentioned the self-cooling properties for better quality sleep, but they're also self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevent up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. No more gross odors. So go to trymiracle.com/Campea. That's TRYMIRACLE.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you'll get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to trymiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's trymiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. Thank you, Miracle Made, for sponsoring this episode. But anyway, Chris, there are 2 different stories here. One, they've actually started shooting live action Moana, and I love the look of the hook. I love everything that I'm seeing there. But it does kind of bring up the question, like, is Dwayne's presence in it actually going to be something that hurts this project right now? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't feel like it's going to hurt it. I just don't think it's going to give the automatic boost we expected several years ago. And there have been a few images leaked too of him filming in his whole full Maui getup, and he looks phenomenal. I don't know who else you could have play this role, honestly, because he is such a big, towering presence.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to work out really nicely. I'm hoping, honestly, that this is kind of the, like, rinse that he needs to get his career back to where it was. I'm really hoping that this just gets him back to being that, like, household name that we could expect. Hey, this is going to be a fun movie. We're going to have a good time here. I know that a lot of times he's playing the same part over and over again, but he needs to do it in better vehicles, right? And we saw him try to kind of stray from that with Black Adam. It didn't pan out for him. I really just want him to have a win. I like him. I think he's a good guy and a typically smart businessman. I'd like to have this movie do well. And my household is the reason why that movie, got so many streaming hits. So I know Logan's going to go see this live action version like 1,000 times.
Okay, a couple of things on it is that, one, I think executives started putting their eyes on him after not just how Black Adam performed, but the drama that surrounded that.
Yeah.
And the executive decisions that then followed. My eyes started to see cracks in it after Jungle Cruise. That's when I started to feel like maybe he's not a guarantee for every movie.
Yeah.
But how did Jungle Cruise do? It didn't do bad, did it?
It didn't do bad, but it
didn't do great.
Yeah.
That movie was way better than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
To
He and
be
Emily
honest.
Blunt have great chemistry.
Yeah, him and
Oh my
Emily
gosh.
Blunt do have wonderful
She has
chemistry.
great chemistry
together.
with pretty much every
Yeah, 'cause
person.
she's
I think
that
she has chemistry
talented.
with Dirt, probably. But
220.
okay.
And for that budget, my concern is just that budget. So for I guess it reportedly for his voice for Moana, the first animated film, he was paid like $21 million.
Which is like so
For voice acting,
outrageously
you should get into
stupid.
voice acting. Now that's a lucrative business.
I was just about to say, that is not a number that us journeyman voice actors ever get.
So coming off of the $50 million paycheck for Red One, that scares me for the live action. It's not so much, in my opinion, that he detracts from a film or he pulls money from a film, but he does in a sense if the budget is so lean or so scaled towards his favor, that if he's getting 50-60 million for this live action Moana, that could injure the film.
Sure.
Well,
So
I mean, to that point, I have a friend who's a filmmaker that worked on a film with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And they said because of how much they paid Dwayne Johnson, it ruined everything else in the movie. He said it just handcuffed them for everything else they did in the movie. Now, that's not Dwayne's fault, per se, that happened. But, you know, I wanted to go back to the whole thing about when you say and bring up the whole idea about what he brings to it. Because, like, say they gave him $20 million for doing Moana, the voice in Moana, which is absolutely, I mean, to use religious terminology, it is a sin. Somebody should burn in hell for giving him that money. But I will say this. When you give Dwayne Johnson that kind of money, unlike, say, historically, a guy like Tommy Lee Jones or a guy like Johnny Depp or or even a guy like Leonardo DiCaprio, Dwayne "The Rock," when you put Dwayne Johnson in one of your movies, he will not sleep because he will spend 24 hours a day doing nothing but promoting that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like with Moana, like with every movie he does, do you see any other actor promote their movies they're in the way Dwayne Johnson promotes the movies he's in? Because like when Moana was coming out, all you saw anywhere all the time was Dwayne Johnson telling people, go see Moana, go see Moana, go see Moana, like everything. And that's the one thing I'll give him. Like I just read this article this morning too about how bad Red One flopped. But it said like literally for the last 3 weeks, Dwayne Johnson's just been on the road, actually in person, going to movie theaters, doing advanced screenings for fans and surprising fans.
That's
and all
the thing too, is he's not just doing like the paid, like, oh, we'll go and do junkets. I mean, he's doing his own like viral video
bust his ass to go out and promote your film.
Yeah.
And what else were we just talking about? Oh yeah, the thing is about to what you were saying, Chris. There were some people say, well, Dwayne Johnson's just always Dwayne. You want to know why Dwayne Johnson's always Dwayne? Because he tried to do other stuff, did it well, and nobody wanted to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You see him in Snitch?
Yeah.
He was really good in that. Did you see him in Faster? He was really good in that. Like, he's done these roles that are very, very different for him, and he's done them quite well. What was that one he did with Mark Wahlberg and Anthony Mackie with the bodybuilders?
Oh,
Pain and Gain.
yeah.
Pain and Gain.
Yeah.
He was actually really quite good in Pain and Gain.
Mm-hmm.
But like he's done all these movies where he's done completely different characters and nobody was interested. People wanted to see The Rock. And so he gives the people what they want to see. But I mean, he's had some PR nightmares lately, self-inflicted. And now can he turn that around? And listen, full disclosure, like I have gotten together with Dwayne Johnson. I actually had drinks in his hotel room with me, Dwayne Johnson, and a couple of other guys in Vegas. He is in person as fucking charming as you think he is in real life. Like in real life, he is so charming, so kind, so nice. I can't help but cheer for him whenever I do, but man, when you have a career as big as his, you got to manage it better. And it's now that it's at a point that you're wondering, is being in Moana going to help Moana? And I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? They have actually started shooting the live action Moana. And I, for one, am actually really interested in it. The hell, the How to Train Your Dragon trailer has made me even more interested in this Moana movie. How do you feel about it? And also the bigger question, it seems inconceivable, but do you think Dwayne being in the movie might actually be a hindrance to the movie at this point? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.